All right, example 3. This is example 3 on chapter 1.7. Possum Kingdom Lake in Palo Pinto County, Texas was setting for world-class cliff diving in 2014. The champion diver's approximate position during the dive is recorded in the table below. So distance away from the cliff and height above the water. So here we go. Start finding our differences. 28.1 minus 27, well, that's 1.1. 27.4, my calculator turned off. 27.4 minus 28.1 is a negative 0.7. 24.8 minus 27.4, we get negative 2.6. 20 minus 24.8 is a negative 4.8. And 12.9 minus 20 is negative 7.1. Yeah, 7.1. All right. So obviously this is not linear. The first difference is not the same. So let's try the second one. Negative 7 minus 1.1. Well, that's a positive. No, negative 7 minus 1.1 is negative 1.8. Negative 2.6 minus negative 0.7. Don't forget minus your negative. So that is also negative 1.9. I got to do this in my calculator. Negative 0.6 minus negative 0.7 is negative 1.9. There we go. Negative 4.8 minus 2.6 is negative. I didn't do it. Negative 4.8 minus negative 2.6 is negative 2.2. All right. And then they say negative 7.1 minus negative 4.8, and we get 2.3, a negative 2.3. Now, I can't really show it to you without erasing all this, but you notice how the question doesn't ask, figure out what type this is. It doesn't. If you actually read just below it, which is actually on the next page, you follow on, it states, write a quadratic model for this. So it's not asking which of the types is this. It's saying make this into a quadratic model. So this is a little bit different. All right? Uh-oh, they're going to release the hounds. So it's going to get loud here in a minute. Bell's over. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to average these up to find our average second difference. So to find your average second difference, it's just write out negative 1.8 plus negative 1.9 plus negative 2.2 plus negative 2.3 and divide it by, well, there's 4 things, 2, 3, 4, so divide it by 4. And you get negative 2.05. What's up, man? So if I take that and I average it, what was I going to say? So I get my A value. It's my second difference divided by 2. Negative 2.05 divided by 2 equals negative 1.025, which I'll round to 3. So that's my A. Your B value is your second difference, your very first, which that's 1.1, minus negative 1.03. Well, that adds up to 2.13. And your starting point is 27. So, y equals negative 2.05x squared plus 2.13x plus 27. So the rules for this are the same as before. We just had to find our average A value. That's all. Go ahead and try it. You try it problem, and we'll try it together. Do it together in a second. All right, so for the you try it, it says a study compared the speed of the average fuel economy for cars. All right. The results in 10 mile per hour increments over 20 miles are shown in the table. So for 10 mile per hour intervals. Okay. Use the data to generate a quadratic model and then predict the fuel economy at 80 miles per hour. So they say generate a quadratic model. This is not So this is not a, hey, figure out what kind it is. This is take the data and make it into a quadratic. So that's what we're going to do. You're going to have to average that second difference. So first things first, find your first differences, find your second differences. So 28 minus 24.5, that is 3.5. 30 minus 28, that's 2. 30.2 minus 30, that's 0.2. 28.8 minus 2, that is, negative 1.4. I got to do that in my calculator. 28.8 minus 30.2. That is negative 1.4. Good. And then 25.8 minus 28.8 is negative 3. So obviously this isn't this isn't linear. But we'll go ahead and make this one too. 2 minus 3.5 is negative 1.5. 0.2 minus 2 is negative 1.8. Negative 1.4 minus 0.2 is negative 1.6. And negative 3 minus negative 1.4 is also negative 1.6. So they're pretty close. We're just going to have to average them up again. Add them up, divide by 4. So negative 1.5 plus negative 1.8 plus negative 1.6 plus negative 1.6 divided by 4 is, give me just a second, it is negative 1.625, so I'll round to the second decimal, so that's negative 1.63. That's going to be our average second difference. So if I divide that by 2 to get my A value, negative 1.63 divided by 2, negative 1.63 divided by 2 is negative 8.15, so I'll say negative 0.82. That's my A value. Your B value is that very first difference, 3.5, minus your A value, 0.82, I'm sorry, 3.5 plus 0.82 equals 4.32. And C is your starting point, just like so X is 0, Y is 24.5. So Y equals negative 0.82 X squared plus 4.32X plus 24.5. All right, there's your equation. But it also says, hey, predict the fuel economy at 80 miles per hour. So we're not just going to shove an 80 into this, because 80 is not my X value. My X value is these guys over here. So at 70, we use 5. So at 80, we're going to use a 6. So plug 6 in for X and solve. So if I say, I'll just type it in, negative 0.82 times 6 squared plus 4.32 times 6 plus 24.5 equals 20.9. So if I'll just say f of x, so f of 6, if I try 6, plug it in for x, we're going to get an answer of 20.9. So I will predict you'll get 29.9 miles to the gallon.